Today is all about looking back over the previous year, 2021, and looking forward into plans and goals and what I would do differently in 2022. Well, y'all, I remember at the end of 2020 when we were all yelling Happy New Year, and I was like incredibly excited that 2020 was over because it was so hard for everyone. Little did I know that 2021 was probably even going to be worse. So we've had a challenging couple of years, and especially for those of us who have hobbies or things that we want to do in our not so spare time. And it was a challenge to getting things done. But I looked back over what I had made and thought about even the differences that I had made in between those things. Like maybe I didn't get something done, but maybe I encouraged someone along the way. So I'm going to look back at all my makes. I'll come back to you after this with a few thoughts about maybe what I would do differently and exciting plans for 2022. So this is about 5 minutes long, so sit back. You can pause it, get a cup of coffee, or if you don't want to see them, you can breeze through and get to the end. But here are my makes of 2021. There were 100 exactly, which is crazy, but there were 100 crafting and or sewing projects. So enjoy. right, so it really was a good year when I look at the things that I was able to accomplish. It is a lot, and I'm fortunate that I can do this mostly full time, so I'm able to devote more time than probably the average person to sewing and crafting. But what I wanted to share with you also is that it was also a very difficult year because I'm one of these people who will get hook onto something and just get real excited about it and then squirrel, like the little dog in the Up movie. So what I did, what I realized about myself is that I have a hard time sticking to the original ideas that I have for very long. So if I make a goal and I don't accomplish it within a reasonable amount of time, I move on. And I don't know if that's an asset or not. So getting to that, my Make 9 was a mess. I'm going to put a link to my planning video last year, and you'll see that I only made 2 things from my Make 9. So is that a failure? I think not, because I just evolved into what I thought was better at the time or what was needed at the time. So, I'm going to do Make 9 again, but with a caveat of this is what looks interesting to me now. But it is subject to change based on bright, shiny things. That's the only way I can describe it. So this year, my focus became a little difficult between health problems and working extra at church for a friend of mine whose mom is in hospice, and trying to get all of those things accomplished. And then I started that jewelry business right before my friend needed help. So I found myself with 3 jobs. And so I had to do some real soul searching. This channel is very important to me. My friend is very important to me. I love that jewelry, but perhaps it's time to just put that aside at least for a while. So that is my goal for 2022, is to be a little bit more focused on the channel, to get Patreon going. I know I've been saying that forever, but I did set a date, and I'm going to tell you guys and keep me accountable to April 1 for starting the Patreon. I've got lots of fun things planned for that. Always God first, always family up there too, and then the things I want to do. And all of my crafting, sewing, and this channel are next. So I am with you 100% this year. So first, I just want to tell you what my favorite make of 2021 was. Hands down, it was and I made 3 of them, so I'm counting all 3. It was the Metro Blazer from Love Notions. That was my very favorite make. I wear these jackets so much. And I made one for my mother-in-law, who also loves it. And they can be dressy, they can be casual. That's just a phenomenal pattern. So you can go back and look at my review video of that. This is a fabulous pattern. Best one I made all year long. That is my favorite one too. This one that I made out of the multicolored French terry from Girl Charlee. So anyway, that is my favorite make of 2021. Now looking ahead to 2022 and my Make 9, realizing, as I said, this might not be set in stone. It might change because everybody's likes and dislikes evolve. And new patterns come out, and maybe they're better than what I'm showing. I don't know. So let's get started here. So the first one is the Jutland pants, and that is by Thread Theory, and these are for men. And one of my major goals this year is to make a men's trouser pattern. I don't know for sure that this is the pattern I'm going to land on. My husband's very tall, and he's pushing a bigger around the middle, and so I'm not sure if this one is going to be best for his foot, but I am definitely going to tackle some men's trousers this year. I've done them before, but it's been a very long time. So my next one is the Take the Plunge swimsuit, which I have one ready to go for my daughter. I hate to say how long I've had that ready to go, while. And I want to make one for myself before we go to Mexico this coming March. So I'll be making at least 2 of those because I've got my daughters to finish plus one for me. And that's from Patterns for Pirates. The next one, and this is, I love making my own underwear. You can make them out of scraps. They cost you nothing except for buying elastic, right? And even with these, you don't even have to do that. And Kiki underwear from Sinclair. I want to try this. This is not the pattern I normally use, but I think they look really, really comfortable. So I'm going to try a few pairs of these and see if I want to switch my pattern up. The usual one I use is the Fierce Undies from Patterns for Pirates. So the next one is the Dutchie jacket for kids from Ellie Mac. And I really want to make these for probably the 3 littlest grandchildren, 2 boys and a girl. And I just think they look really sporty. I think they would be a great addition to their outerwear. Something that's warm but not too heavy. Something that's great for the spring. So that's when I plan to do that. I also want to make these Metro pull-on pants from Sinclair. They look phenomenal. And I made the Sinclair Clio culottes this past year, and I loved them. I loved the fit. I did not one single adjustment to those culottes, and they fit perfectly. So I'm excited to see what will happen with the Metro pull-on pants. They could be a very good pant pattern for me if they're anywhere near as good as the Clio. The next one is the Poppy pant from Sinclair again. There's a lot of their patterns that I just really want to make. So the Poppy pant is a elastic waist or elastic back and fly front and just basic. It's an ankle pant, but of course it could be a longer pant, whatever you would need it to be. And I'm looking very forward to trying those out. The next thing I want to try, and this is an old pattern, just never got around to doing it, is the Sienna tunic from Sinclair again. And they have those ruched ties on the side that I think are really cool. Yeah. The next thing I really want to make are the board shorts from Ellie Mac. And they just look great. I want to sew more for my husband this year. That's a huge goal. And I think these would be great for our trip. All right, so that is my Make 9 for 2022. We will see if I will be able to get however many of them done, but I am looking forward to doing that. I'm also looking forward to the Patreon and that I'm going to be starting, and I want you to hold me to that date of April 1st of getting that going. On there, if you become a Patreon sponsor, you will be able to get access to a library of quick tips. When I've done a technique, I'm going to pull it out and do a 2 to 3 minute clip that will show you just that technique so that you don't have to go through all the videos to see how I did this or that. So that I'm working on. That's why it's taking so long, because I'm going through all my old videos plus filming a few new things that I don't have in my video repertoire. So that is one thing that will be available as a Patreon at whatever level. Another thing I'm looking really forward to doing on Patreon is doing some more live sew-alongs. We did just a little snippet of that with the Mela crossbody bag that I did. The only problem is it was just me talking to you and me showing you the clips of how I did it. However, in the Patreon, my hope is to do that with Zoom so that I can see what you're working on and help you work through your problems. So that is a huge goal. I've been learning this past year. That's one big thing that I did do, is learn a lot about how to do things on live stream and Zoom, and I learned a lot about that. I had to for church anyway, but I know way more about live streaming church services than I ever thought I'd know 3 years ago. So that's how it is. Anyway, those are my plans. I hope you stick with me for the ride. Thank you so much for being so supportive. Don't forget to join our Facebook group, Dorothy's Daughter Community. I'm also on Instagram at Dorothy's Daughter Sews. Thank you so much for being so special. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click that button down below. And I guess there's nothing else to say except happy 2022. Happy sewing.